Welcome to another InWheelTime podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the InWheelTime Car Show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
Good morning from the Sugar Shack World Headquarters. It's the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Woo-hoo. Just ahead, we talk to Jessica Gonzalez from Informed IQ about how AI is finding dealer fraud. Jeff has a segment on the 10 largest salvage yards in the U.S. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic. And then later, we discuss the stories making up auto headlines this week. All this just ahead on the InWheelTime Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin and Mr. David Ainsley making a special appearance today because Don is out for the day, taking care of some visiting with some family.
Yep.
So he left us to our own, and here we are.
Here we go. So if something breaks, it's not my fault.
That's right. It's not my fault.
It's always Mars's fault.
That's right. I got broad shoulders. I can take care of it. I can handle it.
I knew a broad like you.
So I see everybody's kind of survived the heat this week. Kind of got a little bit cooler.
Wasn't too bad this week compared to previous weeks.
And it's supposed to be getting nicer this weekend. We're all looking forward to rain, even though it's Labor Day weekend.
We're
all looking forward. I don't care if my plans are canceled outside. I want the rain.
Rain.
Yeah, we definitely need the rain.
If it rains, I can hear my yard go.
Because right now it's crunchy. You walk across the grass, and it is very, very crunchy.
Yep, absolutely.
So how's everything else going, guys?
Are we guestless at the moment?
Yeah, Miss. Our first guest is a little slow getting here, apparently.
Well, David and I were reminiscing about our vacations this past summer. Did you go anywhere this summer?
Nope.
Didn't have the urge or need to venture out somewhere and dip your toes in the water?
Angie went to California. She's there right now. She left Friday.
With the kids?
Actually with both kids. Last Saturday, Austin did the Alcatraz swim.
Oh, you were talking about that.
So nice. They take a ferry out to Alcatraz, and they all get a little GPS ankle bracelet, which in San Francisco, lots of people are wearing ankle bracelets. And then you swim in. He finished 7th in his class.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Very cool.
So
how long of a swim is that?
About 3/4 of a mile.
Oh, that's him? Oh.
But it's not shark infested water, but there can be sharks in that water.
The water is very, like a better term, turbulent, violent.
Yeah, well, it depends on
a lot of currents.
They do it at what they call slack tide. So just as the tide comes in, it kind of slacks off and then takes a little bit before it heads back out. So they time it so that they're swimming during slack tide. But yeah, that is you get down under the Golden Gate Bridge, and that is a rush of water going in and out as tide changes, just because that whole bay is going to empty out. It's pretty cool. He was real proud of himself. I was real proud of him. And in the groups, they separate out those that wear wetsuits and those that don't. And Austin, having been a water polo player his whole life, he did the swim in a Speedo. And he looks much better in a Speedo than I do.
I'm kind of thinking that's true.
There's a word picture you can't get out of your head.
You just ruined the whole morning.
We just had everybody throw up in their throats.
But so they separate out because they say wearing a wetsuit's an advantage, not just keeping your body warmer while you're doing the swim, but also in your ability to glide is better in a wetsuit.
Well, swimmers, don't they shave their whole bodies and stuff?
Yeah. That was when Austin swam high school and a little bit of college. That was part of the deal. When you went to a big meet, you'd shave before the meet.
So no other ambitions to go to New Braunfels or go tubing or anything?
Nope. No, I didn't.
He enjoyed the heat.
Yeah.
No, I didn't enjoy the heat. I'm not a hot weather guy. I'd rather it be. I don't want freezing cold, like upper Michigan cold, but I'd prefer cooler weather than hot weather.
You bring that up, but with your vacation, because we went up to Michigan, UP, like you did, a couple weeks after you'd come back or you were there. But the weather, you wake up and it's 49 degrees in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You open the windows in the Airbnb, and then daytime it's 72.
Yeah.
Evening, 6 o'clock, you're putting a sweater on.
That's right.
You may be wearing shorts during the day, but you're putting a sweater on or some type of cover up or whatever.
Yeah, have a
Yeah.
cocktail or two. Warms you up a little bit.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And then you do it
A
all
couple of
again.
gummies.
That too.
Give you the munchies.
But the weather, cloudless skies, no humidity or low humidity. It's just incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that is a huge tourist region of the country, is Upper Peninsula.
Yep.
Keep it a secret. Don't talk about it too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't tell
Now we-
anybody.
Yeah.
And we're in 40 countries, so, have fun.
Yeah.
Go on up.
And poor David, because now Don's already invited himself for next year.
Very
Yeah,
good.
they enjoyed their time.
Very good.
It sounded like it.
He didn't get in the water, though. He was a wuss.
What?
Leslie did. She went full under.
Well, she's more athletic. She is.
That's true.
It was breathtaking. It was.
Physical
I should have had a
training,
camera. but we were-
Breathtaking cold.
Oh yeah, yeah. She dipped down and came up, and eyes were about that big around.
Mine would
Yeah.
be too. Yeah.
So it was. It takes your breath away, but
Now,
wakes you up.
The kids jumped off a 30-foot rock, cliff diving or rock diving or whatever, and got video of that. They said it was cold, but they did it multiple times. So
Oh, yeah.
once you get in once,
That's right.
the initial shock is over. They say that one person a year dies doing that because of the shock, heart attack,
Oh, really?
stroke. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's reasons behind that. It is dangerous. First of all, you're jumping off 30-some feet.
Well, did they
into-
hit a rock or was it just cold water?
No, cold water.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the cold water.
I thought they did I thought that was
The cold
known
plunge?
for the Swedish
Eskimo
Swedish
thingamajiggy.
plunge.
Yeah.
No, that's in Sweden.
Oh, that's in Minnesota is where the Swedes are.
Minnesota.
Right? Minnesota.
Well, do they do that on like New Year's Day or something? Don't they up there? They all run into
The
the
polar
lake.
plunge.
Polar
yeah.
plunge. That's what it is.
Well, now they're going to close the bridge for the Labor Day walk.
That and
Mackinac Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's time
5
to
mile.
walk. 5 mile.
That's a 5-mile bridge.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I think it's the longest in the world. Not sure.
something
A
like that.
lot of cars go across it every day.
4-lane, two each way. Yep.
So where do they go across and park? I thought you weren't allowed to have cars on Mackinac
No,
Island.
you go to the UP.
that's-
Mackinac
yeah.
Island is separate. than
Oh,
that.
okay.
It's just the Mackinac
That's an island.
Bridge.
There's no
Yeah.
bridge to the
Yeah,
island
you gotta
because there's
take-
no cars.
You either swim or take a kayak. A lot of kayaking up there too.
Yeah, good
A lot of
stuff.
kayaking.
So you could paddleboard.
Well, let's talk cars.
Conrad.
All right, let's do that. You start.
Well, I was trying to get to the cars on the bridge, but nody picked up on
nobody-
it.
Nobody
did.
picked up on the
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah,
What kind of cars do they allow on that bridge?
yeah.
All righty.
Well,
Okay,
I was going to
that's
say
it.
Jessica's not going to join us.
Still
I'm
no
trying her
guest.
one more time.
Well, I tell you, I've got some stuff if you want to keep going with that.
Why don't you, why don't you roll some of that out there while I try her one more time?
Real quick, I got is there an electric car no pass on the bridge?
What do you mean?
Just saying. What if we broke down and caught fire on the bridge? That'd be a big problem.
No, I don't think that. I think they're allowed to go over. If I'm not mistaken, nobody been one or two. that
Yeah,
I've
but you
seen.
got to think about that though.
They haven't thought about that yet. I bet you.
But if you take an electric car over, do you have a station to plug in? That
Not
might
really.
be-
I didn't see one up there.
Well,
at
you're
all.
on an island yourself. You go to the UP and then you float over your island.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
David
never-
owns an island.
I never saw a charging station in the UP. Just saying.
It's a business. You should start up there. David's
Oh,
charging.
yeah. We got a guest coming up that can help you do that.
Yeah, David's
Ah.
charging system.
What, we can buy into a charging station?
No, he built them. And he built one out in West Texas for a commercial
Hey,
application.
I got a name for it. Up yours.
Uper. Right there.
Yeah. All right.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah,
Take it away, Jeff.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? The latest, greatest you got? I got.
Yeah, let's get
We're
some-
way ahead.
You got some news out there?
I got news. Let's do this news. This is from Automotive News. Don left this for me, so hopefully I'll muddle through it. Hopefully there's no words from like Germany or things that you do to
No,
me.
that I always do. I always find the
When I gotta read
obscure
it.
names
Yeah.
to get Jeff to read.
So this is used car shoppers who want to purchase a late model vehicle for under $20,000 will need a time machine. 4 years ago, the sub $20,000 car made up nearly half of the options in a pool of 1 to 5 year old used car inventory. Those vehicles now make up a scant 12%, according to an iSeeCars.com used vehicle pricing study published this month. iSeeCars.com, a vehicle search engine, a data research company, found that the average price of a 1 to 5 year old vehicle jumped 48%, Conrad, to $34,491 in 2023 to $23,351 in 2019. So it went up $11,000. The company said its study analyzed more than 10.8 million of the 1 to 5 year old vehicles sold between January and July of 2019 and January and July of 2023. So they're going up. Stand by. Get your wallet out.
Jerry Emmons talked about that a little bit last week about how, there's a sweet spot of the used car market, and that's where they really try and carry a big inventory of. That's the sweet spot or price range. And I guess it used to be under 20. I bet you now it's probably pushing 25 to 30-ish. Is where that sweet spot is.
Here's another one. This one's out of Detroit, or Detroit as we call it. Hybrid gasoline electric vehicles may not be dying as fast as some predicted in the auto sector's rush to develop all-electric vehicles. Ford Motor Company is the latest of several top automakers, including Toyota Motor Corporation, Chrysler parent Stellantis, planning to build and sell hundreds of thousands of hybrid vehicles in the U.S. over the next 5 years. That's an industry forecast by Reuters. The companies are pitching hybrids as an alternative for retail and commercial customers who are seeking more sustainable transportation, but not to be ready to make the leap to a full electric vehicle. Now, we've talked about that before. Don's a fan of that with the hybrid. I am too. We all are the fan of the hybrid stuff, which you get the same gas mileage, but you're also being eco-friendly. I guess.
Well, you get a portion of electric propulsion,
right?
And then, if you need be, you can run on a gas motor.
And interest in the hybrids is rebounding as consumer demand for pure electric vehicles has not accelerated as quickly as expected. Surveys cite a variety of reasons for the tepid EV demand, from high initial costs and concerns about range and lengthy charging times, and the shortage of public charging stations. David, there you go. You're going to be building them.
Do they still have the problem, though, of spontaneous combustion and flames?
They don't talk about that.
Yeah, it depends on who you talk to.
Well,
we're going to have some guests on in the next month or so that has a different view of that because they're out in the real world. But the
government's trying to force EVs on us, and anything the government forces you to do generally doesn't make sense, and somewhere in that equation is money for those who are forcing you to do it. So,
but there's less batteries, so there's not the potential for big fire.
You mean
it's
a
a different kind of battery too?
Is it?
Yeah, it's.
Well, not just a different kind of battery, but it's the batteries aren't bigger in a hybrid because they're shorter run. Most hybrids will get you 30 to 50 miles on battery power, and then you switch over to ICE, internal combustion engine power. And depends on the hybrid. Some of them, the ICE motor drives a generator, and you still run electrically, which is what a Chevy Volt does.
See, I like that idea. I like that because you're using the energy not only to move the vehicle, but you're using the excess energy to load up that battery for future.
And then they have regenerative braking. So instead of braking on brake pads and rotors and stuff, you brake on the electric motor is what decelerates you.
Just don't use your brakes.
And as you do that, that adds charge back to the battery as well. So
cool.
There's lots of technology out there. Most of it is pretty well vetted. I don't think it's all well vetted. I think the biggest problem right now with EVs is the dependence on China for components for the battery, the lithium and cobalt. China's out there, and this is probably close to a year ago. We had the guy come on that was
from Spain,
talking about cobalt mining.
He was in the manufacturing, actually running mines to produce those.
And he was
materials.
talking about how China has been buying up all the cobalt mines in Africa.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to control that part of it, and of course, then you get dependent on China for things, and that's not good.
Yeah. Looks like we got somebody coming on there, Mike.
Well, this is our next guest, and the next segment is joining us a little early.
Okay.
Well, good, because the first segment guest didn't join us at all.
Yeah, no, she's not going to make it.
Well, Don's watching. We could get him on.
Is he?
Don, call in.
Call the hotline.
Well, we appreciate George Skelton coming on. He's one of our regulars.
Yeah, George.
And George had shared some early photos of Don and a conversation with Chat GP or whatever it was, AI.
Yeah,
Don't
so
go
some
there.
of the
Chat.
AI.
Yeah. We're not going there.
And he researched Don there and found him. And
Let's not do that.
interesting stories, and most of it not true.
Fortunately. But, I'm not getting a response from him or our first guest.
You want me to go on? I can
We're
go on.
batting 100 this morning.
I can go on. There's
Keep
plenty
going.
here.
All right.
Okay, again, this is why the UAW leaders want 46% raise. Don't go there, Conrad, please. Sean Fain, president of the UAW since March, has declared war on Detroit's 3 automakers with contract demands that even he calls audacious. That's a big word. Including proposals for 46% raise, a return to traditional pensions of 32-hour work week. Now, the 54-year-old who began work as an electrician at a Chrysler casting plant in 1994 is threatening to take his 150,000 UAW members out on strike. If he doesn't have contracts with
Bye.
General Motors, Ford Motor Company, and Chrysler, parent Stellantis, by September 14th deadline, the UAW could strike all 3 simultaneously, something that's never been done in the past.
And Ford has made an offer to the UAW, which is, I think, pretty lucrative, with a guaranteed raise over a period of time that, and Ford in the past has always led the labor union portion of the auto industry. Mm-hmm. They were the first ones to go with a 40-hour work week and such. So, and I'm sure strategically Ford is looking at how can they make an offer that works within their financial structure that'll ultimately do the most damage possible to Stellantis and General Motors. That's kind of how the game is played, and the UAW is just, I want more.
Well,
even what is considered a generous offer from Ford, the UAW said, nah, not interested.
see, in my
Well,
opinion,
and they also filed suit against Stellantis and GM because for not negotiating. They're not negotiating in good faith, and of course they
never
dispute
do.
that,
They never do.
But they're gone and filed a lawsuit against it with the Labor Relations Board. So
Yeah, because if they can't win what they want in negotiation, they want to win it in the courts.
here's what I see on that. Back in the Jimmy Hoffa days, where I grew up and you grew up in those days, that when the labor unions, the labor leaders were making the money and they were just giving the bits and pieces and shreds of particles to the union itself. Nowadays, it's all for the worker and less on. They're still making money. They're still grafting or whatever
sure.
criminal element there is, I guess, Mr. Hoffa. That's different now.
Jimmy
it's-
Hoffa's in Section 106 of the Meadowlands football stadium.
Well, allegedly.
Well, I thought he was
And
on one
then
of the
there's-
bridges.
and there's a part of him over there and a part of him over here. I think I saw him at HEB last week. I don't know. But that's
But
way they do
let them strike,
yeah.
because you talk about destroying the American economy. The auto industry has ultimately been, my opinion, through years, the savior of the American economy. Think about it after, and I was working for GM at the time, after 9/11 happened, the American economy was very much in struggle. And that's when General Motors came out with their 0% interest for 60 months the first time. And that kind of helped revive the American auto industry, but it also revived the American economy.
It also revived General Motors.
Well,
Yeah.
to a point.
Yeah.
And then now it's being destroyed.
Don't.
Well, I just don't know. I don't know any
We
time.
need to reel him in on that.
Anytime a company takes and goes and spends billions of dollars on research for products that are not consumer driven, there's going to be problems. And now you've got all 3 of the big 3 doing that.
What are they
And-
researching?
You mean on the EV side of things?
Yes.
Well, yeah, because now they're
Research-
saying the EV days inventory is over 100 days inventory.
Right. So and I've always said it's never a consumer driven product. There's people that want it, great, build it and sell it, but there's other factors that are causing it. And so whenever you start spending that kind of money, then you are going to have an impact on the national economy.
And
Which is
you always
where we're
get,
at.
when they release the latest EV, you always get that surge of early adopters, because I
Sure.
look at Buzz as being an early adopter of EVs. You get that surge of sales. So when the Ford Lightning first was announced, they sold out 200,000 vehicles in minutes, and they still haven't delivered all 200,000.
And they recalled 300,000 of them.
Well, there is that.
But so that's the problem, is those early adopters have all purchased their vehicles, and now a lot of these EVs are languishing on dealer lots, and the batteries are going bad. Well, they sit there, my opinion.
My boss drives a Tesla 3, and he loves it.
Well, I think the people that
he doesn't go on long trips with it. It's just his daily stuff around. He lives in Sugar Land, works in Rosenberg, owns the business there, and he
there's
and that's the way to own an EV.
yeah. There really is
in an urban setting.
So on one of the clubs that I follow on the Facebook forum, there's one of the guys that's driving his EV. He taking a long trip. I mean, he's going out to West Texas, swinging them back around up through Oklahoma and stuff. And he laid it out because of where the chargers are.
You have to, yeah.
He has to. And, but he's using chargers. He's only there 20 to 30 minutes.
And you get Willie to do a song about West Texas, town of El Paso, and getting there in an EV.
Yeah. Yeah, they ain't happening. But I was looking at it. He was talking off his mileage and stuff and how many times he had to stop to go to miles. I'm thinking, my truck, I can do that without stopping, period. And he's spending, 45 minutes to an hour to do what I don't even have to stop for.
Well, even on your GPS in your car, when we travel, we use the GPS, and it shows restaurants, gas stations, parks, rest areas. Nothing on there that I saw had EV station or.
Well, if you're
maybe
driving
that's
an
coming.
EV, it does.
Well, yeah, if you're driving in an EV. Yep, we're going to do that.
Yep. All right. Well, so let's move along to something else that's a little more interesting, like the race card.
Woohoo!
Well, and this the InWheelTime race card is sponsored by the Texas Nostalgia Modified Production, and we really appreciate those guys. And you want to go out and watch some fun racing, you go out and find the Texas Nostalgia Modified Production cars.
It is fun.
Because they leave on the clutch, and that's one of the things that they talk about. It is true, my opinion, true drag racing, as opposed to, what you see on TV, all these guys that are leaving on a button and
you got to leave on the clutch and you got to shift it yourself. There's no
2-speed, 3-speed automatic transmissions. Yeah, on these, it's leave on the clutch and you got to shift. You got to row through the gears. So
Okay, you got a calendar?
And we're going to have Kevin Hall's going to be here, our guest later on, and we're going to talk about their run to their championship race in a few weeks.
And then, so this weekend is the U.S. Nationals at Indy. NHRA's at the U.S. Nationals. Next weekend, the start of the championship series they're going to be at Maple Grove. Darlington tomorrow for NASCAR. And then on September 10th, they're going to be in Kansas. And then on September 16th, they're going to be Saturday night race in Bristol.
Woohoo!
And then on September 24th, they're going to be up at Fort Worth at Texas. Formula One is at the Forget About It Grand Prix this weekend, the Italian Grand Prix. And that's always good because they're at Monza this year. And that's just such a fun racetrack to watch people run on. And then they're in Singapore on the 17th. And then Japan on the 24th, and then October they come back to Circuit of the Americas, and I think it's November they're at Las Vegas for the first time in Las Vegas, and then Indy IMSA's at the Indy Road Course on September 17th, Indy Cars September 10th are at Laguna Seca. Jeff, you got something for us?
Yeah,
about
I do. I
Auto
just need a little
Junkyards?
extra time, so I was kind of rushing you along, but here we go with this. How about that? Junkyards, largest in America. The U.S. is home to some of the largest junkyards in the world. Whether you are into cars, trucks, motorcycles, or planes, there's something on this list for you. While many folks gravitate to the yards for their restoration project and old parts, these junkyards are amazing sites. They actually have been called tourist destinations. Many of these places do give tours. These are the largest auto junkyards in the U.S., which are most exciting. Check it out. You pick your favorite. Here's 10 of them. We're going to run through these kind of quickly. There you go. Look at that. This is French Lake Auto Parts in Minnesota. Are you looking for a great junkyard near Minneapolis? Then French Lake Auto Parts is it. It is situated 60 miles west of Minneapolis and has been open for more than 50 years.
That's a good sound check.
In terms of size, the junkyard has over 100 acres and over 10,000 vehicles. And there's one of them right there. This one is Wildcat Auto Wrecking in Oregon. Wildcat Auto Wreckers has a heavy focus on Chrysler parts and vehicles and is located in Sandy, Oregon. Wildcat Auto Wrecking is the only Mopar-specific junkyard in the Pacific Northwest. So if you're a Mopar fan, head on up there. They got something for you. This next one is CTC Auto Ranch in Texas. Just an hour north of Dallas in Denton, Texas, you will find CTC Auto Ranch. CTC Auto Ranch is one of the most popular junkyards in the world of America.
I've been there.
Yep. With good reason. CTC Auto Ranch ships parts nationwide, and you should check out the drone footage on their website. I looked at it a little bit. You're going to like it. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
It's breathtaking to see how many vehicles they have on the ground there.
Yep. And look at that. There's all kinds of stuff for you. The next one is Turner's Auto Wrecking in California. Turner's Auto Wrecking has a vast 100 acres of vintage car parts. This junkyard dates back to 1928 and has been featured in Hot Rod Magazine. They ship anywhere in the U.S., and you should pay a visit to this in person to get the full experience. There you go. There's a lot of stuff to look at there. Next one is All Bike Salvage Yard in Arizona. In June of 2013, Mike, All Bike Salvage Yard suffered a massive fire, and it destroyed almost 9,000 bikes that they had in stock. And while it is challenging to build that amount of stock back up, All Bike Salvage is back on the map today, still doing business. That's pretty amazing. This next one, you see that there's a lot of airplanes and stuff going on. I got to turn my page.
Tucson, Arizona.
Yep.
I've been there.
It's Pinal Air Park, Arizona. If bikes and cars aren't your thing, then you're going to find this place incredible. Pinal Air Park is where many airplanes go to die. Most have never flown either, sadly. Due to financing, there are many brand new planes just sitting in that yard.
And they strip them down for parts to
they
keep
do.
the current fleet flying.
Yep, they do in most cases. Absolutely right. You've got the Corvair Ranch in Pennsylvania.
Done.
Most often, if you hear the word Gettysburg, you're more likely to think of the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln. However, you should also consider this as a Corvair enthusiast heaven. Although the junkyard does host multiple different car bodies, there are more than 600 Corvairs on the lot.
Lucky guy.
And I'm going to skip to the last one here, which is the Old Car City, USA. Oh, we got it. We're just going to go on. Old Car City, USA. If you're looking for the number one most famous junkyard in the world, then Old Car City, USA is it. It is situated in White, Georgia, and it has numerous things going on. They actually have senior pictures taken in that
Nice.
junkyard. Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay, I've got to get out of it, so give me like another 30 seconds. And I'll
Yeah, we talked a little bit earlier about
run it
the
behind.
salvage yards there on 249, just west of 45, and those are all insurance salvage yards. But there's a couple of 100 acres of vehicles there as well.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. The InWheelTime Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for the InWheelTime Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, InWheelTime.com, and Twitch. Podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The InWheelTime Car Talk show continues right after a quick break.
The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning InWheelTime Car Talk show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. InWheelTime has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing InWheelTime Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the InWheelTime Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,